Good morning. You are welcome to my YouTube channel, a channel created for digital designers like you. The goal is to promote and democratize digital design technologies by providing expert training and relevant industry exposures that will lead to enhanced project delivery and stimulate progress across a matrix of design disciplines. Revit Essential Training is first in a series of courses designed to achieve the set goal. In the previous lesson, we looked at AEC industry and digitization. Please, if you have not watched the previous lesson, I would strongly recommend to watch it before you watch this one. In this lesson, we will be looking at the Revit Setup and the Revit user interface. We will look at Revit Installation, Revit Setup files, recent page environment, that is the starter page, project environment, that is the information model page, families environment, and then the components page. I'll explore sample projects in another video after this one. Revit Installation. There are 3 versions of Revit that can be installed: a free version, a student version, and a subscription version. The free version is accessible to anybody and it is valid for a period of 3 months. The student version is available to students with accreditation from a recognizable institutions across the world. The subscription version is a paid-up version for professionals and corporate entities. Revit Setup files. Anytime Revit is installed, it comes with default content. In case you don't have access to the default content on your Revit Setup, you can go to the Autodesk website and download the default content and then use it. They are free and easily accessible. The default content is stored in the Programs Data folder on your drive C. And normally, the Program Data folder is a hidden file. So in case you cannot access it, you need to activate your hidden files in your Windows before you can access it. And within the Autodesk Revit folder, there are basically some folders and files that are shipped of the software that makes the running of the software very smooth. This includes Family Templates folder, IES folder, Libraries folder, Lookup Tables folder, Recent folder, Templates folder, User Data Cache folder. There are also custom dictionaries and then license configuration file that are shipped with it. As a beginner, your focus and attention should be on the Libraries folder and then the Templates folder, because without an appropriate template, you cannot use Revit smoothly, and without an appropriate or required or accessible libraries, then the usage of Revit can be very cumbersome. We also have the recent page environment in Revit as a user interface. Then project environment, that is a model, information model environment, also with a different interface. Then the families environment also comes with a different interface. The families environment, for instance, comes with 3 different interfaces, depending upon whether you are creating a 2D content, a 3D content, or a conceptual massing content. But for the purpose of this training, I'm going to focus upon the recent page environment, that is the starter page, which will give you access to your project and families, and then the project environment, which will give you access to your all the things required to be able to create a successful building information model. The project environment in Revit is made up of a title bar with a help and exchange area, a quick access toolbar, menu ribbons, tabs, panels and tools, options bar, workspace, view controls, status bar, view cube, navigation bar, project browser palette, system browser palette, properties palette, project browser window, and keyboard shortcut window. The earlier you get conversant with some of these things, the better and more comfortable and convenient your life can be with regard to the Revit user experience. Now, let's look at Revit. Anytime you start up Revit, this is the first screen that shows up on your interface, made up of the back office on the left, and then the models and families on the right. The back office gives you access to open or create new models and new families, as you can see from the icons here. Then the recent file access gives you access to your recently opened model items and recently opened family items. At the top here also, you see the Revit icon, and then the icon here, which gives you the opportunity to switch between your project environment and then the recent user interface environment. We have the title bar here with the name of the version of the software you are using, and then where you are currently at. For instance, I'm at home, so you see home here. Then on the extreme right, we have the communications area or the user exchange area. We also have the normal, minimize, maximize, and then the close button on the right here. Let's explore the Revit setup and then the user interface. For the purpose of this training, I'll create a new file, and I'll use a no template file. That's, I'll choose none, which means that I'm not going to use any template file. Something I will not recommend for a new beginner though, but because I'm only exploring the user interface, that is why I've chosen to use the none, so that you will not be distracted by any project interface that we'll be working on or that you will see. So when you click on OK, you create a new project, and Revit to create a new project for you. Now, because I'm starting from a no template, Revit will ask me whether I want to use the Imperial version or I want to use the metric version. But for the purpose of this training, I'm going to use the metric version. So I'll choose the metric file type. It will take some few minutes or few seconds for the Revit setup to load. I'll close the project browser for now, close the properties browser so that we can start from scratch. You realize that at the top here, the name has been altered to show Autodesk Revit 2020 Project 1 Floor Plan Level 1, which means that the name of the project is Project 1, and then the name of the open view is Floor Plan Level 1. At the top here, we have the menu items organized in a ribbon format. Okay, so you can see the file menu, architecture menu, structure menu, steel menu, systems menu, the insert menu, the annotate menu, the analyze menu, Martin and site menu, collaborate menu, view menu, manage menu, add-ins, and then modify. Depending upon the version of the software that you are using, the list can vary and the arrangement also can vary. You can modify them to suit the way you work. Okay, each menu item, let's say for instance architecture, has specific panels dedicated for the menu item. So in the architecture menu, for instance, we have the build panel, circulation panel, model panel, room and area panel, opening panel, datum panel, and then the work plan panel. Each panel has specific tools assigned to that panel or unique to that panel. You cannot find those tools on a different panel apart from here. So for instance, on the build panel of the architecture menu, we have the create walls, doors, windows, components, columns, all the way up to mullions. The same way, if you go to, let's say for instance, the annotate menu, it gives you specific menu items related to annotation or for annotation purposes, and this includes dimension panel, detail panel, text panel, tags panel, color fill panel, and then the symbols panel. So on the dimensions panel, all the tools that are related to dimensions will be made accessible to you. Just below the menu panel, we have the quick access toolbar, which gives you fast en route to some specific tools that you work with regularly. You can decide to position the quick access toolbar above the menu items by choosing the show above the ribbon button, or you can decide to show it below the menu item by choosing show below the ribbon item. We can decide to customize it to suit you and bring whichever tools that are relevant to you, which we'll look at later on. Just below the quick access toolbar, we have the options bar, which is shown in gray here. The options bar gives you options to specific tools depending upon what you are working on, which you are going to explore later on. Then from the options bar, we have access to the workspace where we work, the blank white space here where we work. Any view you open, any sheet you open, any schedule or any legend that you open is accessible from the workspace here. At the bottom here of the workspace is the view control. This view control is per view. Any single view in Revit, any single sheet or schedule has its own view controls which you can work with, and it is made up of scale which you can choose from a long list of scales. We have also the detail level, we have the graphic display stars, we have the show sound path on and off, switch shadows on and off, we have the crop region or on crop region, we have the show crop region, hide crop region, we also have the temporary hide and isolate objects, we have the show hidden objects, then we also have review hidden objects, analytical objects, and then we have review constraint objects. These items are all view specific, so depending upon the view in which you find yourself, you will always see these items there. Okay, just at the bottom here is the status bar. The status bar is common with all Windows software, which gives you some guidelines as to what you are doing with any specific tools. So as a beginner, you should always be looking at this status bar whenever you are working with any specific tools or items. On the status bar, we have the work set option here. We also have the design options. Then on the extreme right, we have some items here: select lens, select underlay element, pin or unpin object, select elements by face, select drag elements on selection, then background processing, and then the filter tool here. Please, this filter tool is very useful to explore as time goes on. These items alone will not be enough for you to be able to work in Revit effectively. You will need other things in order to be able to work effectively with Revit, and this I will show you by going to the view menu. If you go to the view menu, then you go on the extreme right on the Windows panel of the view menu. You should see user interface. On the user interface, you can activate the project browser, and this is the project browser. It's small here. You can expand it, okay, to make it life comfortable for you, or you can close it. You can even decide to dock it wherever you want. You can dock it on the left side here. You can dock it also on the right side here. Okay, you can even decide to dock it at the bottom if it will make life comfortable for you here, or you can decide to let it float if you want it to float here. But I'll dock it to the left here for now, and then adjust it so that it doesn't occupy much of my space. You can also bring in the properties palette And just like the project browser palette, the properties palette too can be docked or can be allowed to float. So for now, I'll dock it on the left here. Also, when you are working, you need to be able to navigate whilst you work. So you can easily activate your navigation bar. And with the navigation bar, you can navigate through the project that you are working on, or you can navigate through the view that you are in by, for instance, activating either the zoom command or activating the pan and then the 2D wheel command here. Again, we also have the system browser. The system browser is for mechanical, electrical, and piping systems. So if you are a services engineer and you are working on systems, this system browser is very, very relevant for you to be able to manage and monitor all your piping, electrical, and mechanical systems. If you are not a system engineer or if you are not a services engineer, then these systems might not be of any use to you. We also have the MEP fabrication part. So you can activate the MEP fabrication in case you are working in MEP and you want to facilitate the fabrication part. We also look at that one also. Then we also have the P and ID modular here, which you can also use depending upon your understanding of the language of it. And then we have browser organization. The way you want to organize your project browser here, this dialog box can help you monitor how your project browser will be organized. On a small project, browser organization might not seem very important, but on a big project whereby you'll be working with more than 300 views or more than 100 sheets, then browser organization comes in very handy. Okay, so I'll close the browser organization window. Then I also look at keyboard shortcuts window. There's a keyboard shortcut window in Revit which you can use to customize keyboard shortcut the way you want. As time goes on, we will explore some of these things. At this juncture, I'll close all the windows that I've opened to get us back to where we started from. So I've closed all of them. So it takes us back. So in case you want to bring them back, you can even, for instance, right click the properties and the properties palette will come back and you can work with. Thank you very much for watching this video. In the next video, I'm going to access or open some of the shipped sample Revit files that is shipped with the software. Then look at how we can work and interact with it. Thank you very much for watching. Please, you may have to subscribe and like my videos as part of your contribution to the cause we are all championing. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.